Have you ever seen a library that looks like a gigantic castle and thought to yourself, how did they get funding for that sort of thing? You may have used a library without even knowing about it. You may have also funded that library without even knowing about it. There are several ways that libraries can get funding, including taxes, charging fees, or setting themselves up as an independent library district. First, let's look at the way that we all know, which is taxes. Most libraries are funded by taxes. According to Ebden, Park, Franklin, and Moore, in an article entitled Institutional Arrangements for Public Library Funding and Spending, revenues are, on average, largely from local government sources, and some libraries even have the ability to tax. The Charlotte County website says that things that included in these taxes would be library renovations. So those are things that you could be funding without even knowing about it because they're coming straight out of your taxes. Another way, in an article entitled Strategies for Sustainable Funding, a Metadata Review of the Independent Library District Model by Matthew Goldman, sometimes taxes aren't enough. Sometimes they have to charge special fees, like late fines or fees for printing, stuff like that. And speaking of fees, the various fees can include student fees. Student fees would be something that a college student automatically comes out of their tuition and goes towards their library. According to Jennifer L. Jones, in an article entitled Mandatory Student Fees in the Academic Library, these college fees, in 2004, Georgia State University students voted to approve a $35 one-time library fee so that they could renovate their two large existing libraries that were on their campus. So fees like the student fees or printing fees are other things that can help fund a library. Also included in those fees help fund the staffing or the loss of other funding that they might have gotten from the local government, which is leading up to our last funding issue, which is how libraries can set themselves up as an independent library district. Tighter and tighter budgets in local governments are cutting costs to things such as libraries. So these libraries can set themselves up as an independent library district. According to Matthew Goldman, in an article about the independent library district model, local governments continue to face financial pressures. Some libraries have started to explore ways of supplement funding. One of the ways is setting themselves up as an independent library district. This way, they don't have to be included in their local government. They can self-regulate. They can just decide when they want to raise fees, lower fees. They don't have to go to the government to say, hey, this is what we're doing, this is why we're doing it. They can do that all themselves. So they are their own circulation and they're their own body, their own regulatory body. As a special taxing district, the library is allowed to set those taxes without voter approval. So they don't have to go to the voters to say, oh, vote for this to get your libraries funded. They can do that without that. And it'll automatically be included in your taxes that you don't even know about it because they set themselves up as an independent library district. Many librarians and library boards believe that this model will help eliminate the challenges of single and multi-year planning so they don't have to, think, hey, I have to plan this far ahead because I don't know what my funding is going to be. With the independent library model, they can choose, this is what we want to do, this is our funding for it. They don't have to go outside of their own regulatory body to say, this is what we need money for. So, those are some of the ways that libraries can get funding. Some main ways that libraries get funding are taxes, charging fees, like the student fees or the college fees, and the ability to set themselves up as an independent library model. So next time, when you see a library and it looks like a gigantic fairy tale castle, you can say, hey, maybe I helped pay for that library castle. Thank you.